Hello? Are we ready? We are ready? We are ready. Hello? 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 Okay. Right, is my mic working? Hello? 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 Okay.
Okay.
We are currently
Right, is
streaming.
my mic working? Hello? Hello?
Okay, I'm going to mute myself so I don't hear any echoes. We are currently streaming. All right, let's transition over to what I was looking at. Oh, load new posts. All right, we're going to be checking over the New York Times. Protesters roam the halls of the Capitol, breaking into offices. So it looks like okay. So these are mostly Trump supporters, as you probably were well aware of by now, if you have read at all about the protests. Full. Okay, so this guy is hanging from the balcony in the Senate chamber. Why? I'm not sure, but he is currently hanging from the balcony in the Senate chamber. Maybe he's like trying to use some leverage to break that door. Hopefully not, but I have no idea why he would be hanging from a balcony in the Senate chamber. Either way, things are not looking good for our republic at all when people are hanging from balconies in the Senate chamber. Usually, if you're not well aware, hanging from balconies in the Senate chamber is the uh, sign that things are not going well whatsoever in our republic. Shoot, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong tab. This guy hanging from the balcony in the Senate chamber, as you are all well aware of right by now, last time that someone hanged from a balcony in the Senate chamber was in Uganda. 3 days later, the Ugandan Republic was overrun. So this is the bad omen, as we would like to call it. It's the murder of crows circling us. The guy hanging from the balcony in the Senate chamber. This will be forever remembered as the moment that things went badly. So, if you aren't aware of, this was the scene that I used for the thumbnail for this live stream. This was from taken by this J. Scott Applewhite as the at the Associated Press. The caption that the New York Times put for it was police officers drew their guns inside a House chamber on Wednesday after pro-Trump protesters broke into the Capitol building and thousands swarmed the steps outside. Images from the scene showed at least two officers aiming their guns towards the doors of the chamber, which appeared to be barricaded with some kind of large desk. You can see that right there. That large desk that is barricading these doors to the Senate chamber. If you've ever been inside the Senate chamber, those are like the doors that are right to the right if you were facing the outside of the, if you were on the chair thing, the guy with the gavel, chairman's stand, to the right of you is where this door is, and it looks like it's being broken, the glass here. So I don't know why these guys drew their guns, but it must have been for some important reason. Usually, if you're a police officer, I assume that Capitol Police have the same sort of training. You don't draw your gun unless you're ready to fire. So something happened there. I doubt that it went off. This was taken 25 minutes ago. If you haven't seen my video that I released like 5 seconds ago, go watch that. It covers that. We're going to go look at the CNN live coverage. They usually do a good job of assault on democracy. It's a new headline. Yeah, you can see they use the same thumbnail. Looks like a different photo though, because these guys seem to be standing closer to the desk than they were, so it wasn't the same photo that was taken by the thing. It's unclear whether well, it's pretty clear, but I don't know if a lot of these protesters are there because they are shocked by the results of the Senate race in Georgia. Honestly, if you were a Republican, you were not expecting to lose that race. You thought it was a particularly easy Senate race to win. However, they lost uh, mostly because Republicans did not show up to the polls because some of them were under the impression that, hey, we already won the presidency, this Senate race doesn't matter. However, that is clearly not the case. So we got 2 minutes ago, live updates. This is Senator Ted Cruz, who's very influential in the Republican Party and is probably a leading contender for the next Republican presidential nomination. Urges rioters to storm the Capitol to stop now. In all caps, less than 1 minute ago. Republican lawmaker says despicable Capitol riots were started by not telling people the truth. That might be okay. Watch CNN live. Let's watch CNN live.
Diana.
All right, so we're
Your
all
time
watching
will come. One day,
He will become a legend.
Live TV. Maybe we won't get a Wonder Woman ad, but who knows? We might. I apologize for the loading. We got a couple tabs open. I'm going to try and transition.
The people on Capitol Hill should remain peaceful, and if you're looking at those scenes, nothing about that is peaceful, given that we are seeing armed standoffs, a woman being shot, reinforcements being sent to the Hill, and instead the president is not acting like this is the reality that's happening, even though he is currently sitting in the West Wing watching this coverage unfold. I am told by multiple people. And Jake, the president is being encouraged by staff to put out a stronger statement about what is happening with his supporters on Capitol Hill right now, but so far he has declined to do so, and he has declined to tell them to get out of the building. Instead, he has only sent out those 2 tweets, including the one asking them to remain peaceful, saying we are the party of law and order. But Jake, clearly these are his supporters. They are wearing his sweatshirts and waving his flags, and the president is refusing advice from staff to put out a stronger statement on what you were seeing happening right now.
I wonder if there is anybody with a conscience in the cabinet who is considering doing anything to stop this, because this is a nation of laws, and there is a provision in the Constitution, the 25th Amendment, to step in when the president is not capable of governing. Let me go to Jim Acosta right now. Jim, what are you hearing from people inside the White House? This is an absolutely revolting, in both senses of the word, display. And it is President Trump inspired this, encouraged this, is not stopping it, is entirely responsible.
Oh, he's totally responsible, Jake, no question about it. I should point out in just the last minute, Kayleigh McEnany, the outgoing White House press secretary, she just put out a tweet saying that the president, at his direction, has ordered the National Guard over to the U.S. Capitol to get control of the situation. Her tweet says the National Guard is on the way, along with other federal protective services. We reiterate President Trump's call against violence and to remain peaceful. That is the totality of that tweet from the White House press secretary, Jake. But I will tell you, this is not sufficient. As you know, Jake, we have a White House briefing room. It has lights, it has cameras, it has people ready for the President of the United States or the White House press secretary or the Chief of Staff, at the very least, to come in and call for calm. That is not happening. They're putting out tweets. That's it. That is the entirety of their response at this point, and it's just insufficient. I walked up to the upper press area of the West Wing just a short time ago. That's where the press secretary has her office, other staffers on the comm staff and so on. These young press aides, they're the last ones who are here. They're sort of the dead enders of the Trump administration. They seem dumbstruck. They seem shell-shocked. Looking at their faces, they just don't seem to understand what is unfolding around them. And it is astonishing. I will tell you, I've never seen anything quite like it in my 8 years covering the White House. A White House staff that appears to be immobilized, incapable of dealing with the situation. And as Caitlin was just saying, part of the reason why is because the president is just watching this on TV. He is now a spectator of the destruction that he has unleashed. He is not.
That's top audio. There we go. Okay. You can see that famous painting of the signing of the Constitution. All these famous paintings. I hope none of them get stolen. This is insane. So this is a protester broke into some random offices inside of the Capitol. Police draw guns in the Capitol. That's the photo I used for this thumbnail. Hey, Romney, I'm going to check to see if there's any comments. No? Okay, we got 2 concurrent viewers. Awesome. Welcome to the Loot Lounge with Luke Gilfillan view. Unfortunately, we don't have any people typing in the chat. I'm utterly devastated, for one. So, all right, let's move back to the CNN live coverage. Turn back on that desktop audio. I'm sorry, it was probably very annoying.
And all the enablers around him have wrought the administration, which has called themselves the Law and Order administration. The president who liked to call himself the Law and Order president. This is what their vision of law and order is. Imagine this was a group of black protesters. Imagine this was a group of thousands of Muslims who had stormed the Capitol. Imagine what would happen then, how the reaction would have been different. Senator Santorum, you worked in, the Senate building. Seeing these images, what do you think?
Well, it's heartbreaking. I understand people's anger. I understand a lot of people feel that the country is at stake. But what I don't understand is how people have lost faith in our country to the point where they feel they have to do things like this. That somehow or another that there's just no other opportunity to deal with the challenges that we have in front of us other than to storm the Capitol building. That is considered to be a rational act by people who say they love America. If you love America, you understand the greatness of our country is the great institutions we have, and you defend those institutions. You defend our Constitution. You don't try to overturn through violence and protest the things that you say you value. And so I see what's going on here. I see people breaking into the Capitol and breaking into the Senate chamber, and all because they think that
new updates
they're
coming through. I've updated 4 minutes ago. Reporter chat. I don't know what this is. Okay, so these are reporters talking about stuff. Okay, so this reporter says oh, this is live. Okay, so some reporters are saying that the Capitol Police are outnumbered. So that's an issue. Obviously, Trump called in the National Guard, so that should offset some of that, but not until the National Guard really arrive and get things under control. Okay, so Mark Lebovich says that this scene seems to be getting more out of control rather than less. So Griff Jenkins of Fox News is getting harangued and harassed by Trump protesters, according to Jim Rudenberg, writer-at-large, New York Times, calling it fake news. So a lot of Trump supporters, at least in this crowd, seem to be upset at Fox News. Okay, so this guy says, I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. Okay, so Ivanka Trump recently tweeted, peaceful protest is patriotic, violence is unacceptable and must be condemned in the strongest terms. So really the violence seems to be happening mostly in the Senate chambers. Okay, I've got a lot of videos playing at once. Does anyone know where the president physically is right now? Who's with him? Whether they have any kind of plan, or does anyone? He's in the Oval Office right now, according to Maggie Haberman, who is the White House correspondent for the New York Times. Very, very famous reporter. All right, we're going to go back to CNN. This is Van Jones talking, is a very, very popular pundit. Currently works for CNN. Let's turn off the desktop audio.
It sounds so abstract when we talk about the peaceful transfer of power. It just sounds like something from a book. This is what it looks like when you don't have a peaceful transfer of power.
Okay, 3 people
Abraham Lincoln talked about
the Senate chamber.
Some people
As
want
said,
rule
it looks
or
like
ruin.
most of the violence is
If
happening
I can't have it my way, I'll burn the whole country down. If I can't have it my way, I will burn the country down. So now I don't think that Republicans and conservatives can look at this and say this is okay. I'm calling on all of my conservative friends, my Republican friends, to say.
It looks like from that video that some Republicans have used, or not Republicans, I'm sorry. Some protesters have used scaffolding or construction equipment to get up in the Senate area. I assume that's in the Senate area. As I said before, most of this violence is across. Oh, there we go. We got a clash. Okay. So it looks like Capitol Police using. These guys look like Capitol Police. They are using tear gas and pepper spray, and the protesters are attacking them with various things. And so Van Jones, Van Jones is right now talking
and there was
about
blood
that
on the floor
he
and
believes
tear
that
gas.
Muslims
What would we
were
be
to
saying?
do something like
If you
storm the
believe that
Capitol
we
like
are
this,
all one people, you don't
that
like the
there would be a
hyphenations.
different reaction.
If you believe that we're all one country, if you believe in law and order, if you're against traitors, if you are for patriotism, there needs to be a uniform denunciation from top to bottom of the Republican Party of what we're seeing. And the last thing I just want to say is this. You know, for Keisha Lance Bottoms, a black woman who was a mayor of Atlanta, when they started rioting in Atlanta, She stood up and she said, "You stop it. You don't do this in Atlanta. You don't do this in America." She stood up to her base and told them to go home. Where is the President of the United States? Where is Donald Trump? Show the wisdom and the intelligence and the strength of a black woman mayor of Atlanta in the middle of this riot, and then we can get someplace.
Yeah, the difference here is that the mayor did not incite the riot.
That's right.
And the President of the United States said, "Rick, I really respect what you said, but I don't understand how you don't understand how we got here. We know how we got here. We know that words matter." And when the President of the United States says again and again and again that these institutions are corrupt, they're rigged, the election was fraudulent, they're stealing it from you, when he goes out and addresses these very people today and tells them that they have to be strong and urges them to march down to the Capitol, I don't understand how you don't understand how this happened. We know how it happened. And he is culpable for this. You know, Winston Churchill said, "Dictators ride to and fro upon tigers which they dare not dismount, and the tigers are getting hungry." The president sits in the White House, and the tigers are loose at the Capitol. Let me just say one more thing, Gloria. I am the son of an immigrant who fled a country because of scenes like this and came to the United States because this was a country of law. This is a country of laws, and many of us share that story. I am in tears today to see this scene. This is not an American scene, and this was not a necessary scene. And I understand completely why it happened.
Gloria?
I'm heartbroken. I spent 10 years walking up and down those steps, covering Capitol Hill, having a great deal of respect for the people who serve in that Capitol. Most of the time, by the way, talking about policy, even with Senator Santorum over there. And I watched this today and I said, that's my Capitol. That's my house. That's our house. And these are domestic terrorists. They're ripping it apart. And then I saw a tweet by Ivanka Trump, which she took down, which called them American patriots. She said, any security breach is unacceptable, etc. But she called them American patriots. That is not what I call them. These are people who march there to do damage.
Alrighty. Any new photos? Live, Mobson's Capitol. Nope, we got the guy obviously hanging from the balcony of the Senate chamber. Common, as we said earlier, this is what happened in Uganda right before their governmental system collapsed. Guy hanging from the balcony of the Senate chamber. That is a bad, bad omen. It's like a murder of crows circling you as you lie waiting to be decomposed. National Guard, so they're heading out there. Getty Images. Nice job, Spencer Platt from Getty Images. Nice photo. This is a guy inside of Nancy Pelosi's office, so this guy's going to jail. We know that for sure. Got photographed in the blue inside of Nancy Pelosi's office, so not looking good for him. Wait, no, Nancy Pelosi, I'm sorry, she's a House member, so it looks like there's some breaking and entering inside of the House chamber. So Trump calls for peaceful protests and asks crowds to leave Capitol. Protesters roam the halls of the Capitol. Police threw guns in the Capitol. That was the thumbnail for this live stream. No chat. Average watch time, 38 seconds. That's not bad. Not bad. Below 5 concurrent viewers. So we're going to go back to the CNN.
And they march there to do damage in the middle.
On these individuals, they should be arrested immediately. I assume some of them will be. There is videotape. We see their faces. We see what they're doing. They are illegally breaking into the United States Capitol. endangering members of the House of Representatives, members of the U.S. Senate as well. You see what's happening on the floor of the Senate and the House. Law enforcement are raising their weapons to deal with these mob individuals. I don't want to call them protesters. They're not protesters. They're people who are engaged in an insurrection that will fail. They will be arrested. We are now told that members of the U.S. military's National Guard from Maryland and Virginia are on the way. Major numbers are coming in to deal with this enormous threat to the U.S. democracy. Only 14 days left.
Virginia governor
14 days until the inauguration, when Joe Biden will become the president of the United States. I can only imagine the security that is going to be around Washington, D.C. over these next 14 days as we await the inauguration of Joe Biden as president. 14 days until Donald Trump leaves office. Pamela, you're getting some new information.
That's right. We're told that multiple officers have been injured in the midst of the chaos that we are seeing, with at least one officer, Wolf, transported to the hospital. Multiple sources tell me and my colleague Noah Gray, just to give you a sense of what this means with this officer being transported to the hospital. It seems to be they are only transporting higher priority cases. So although we don't know what the injury is, that gives you a clue. We know that EMS is on the scene there. They are triaging. A woman was shot in the chest on Capitol grounds earlier today. We don't know the circumstances of that. But what we do know, Wolf, is that law enforcement is simply overwhelmed. You report that the National Guard is now on its way. But earlier today, one law enforcement officer sent a distress call from inside the Capitol building because it was getting so out of hand. I do know from talking to sources that police from surrounding areas are coming from Virginia State Police, Montgomery County, Maryland Police, Prince George's County, and now multiple officers have been injured, with at least one transported to the hospital. And we're now seeing police in riot gear there, Wolf, trying to contain the crowds, trying to bring a sense of calmness to the chaos.
Yeah, the entire D.C. National Guard has now been activated, Pamela, and they're going to be joined by Maryland and Virginia. Military personnel, military troops, they're coming into Washington, D.C. right now. Manu, you're inside the Capitol. We knew that there was a session going on. The vice president was there, the members of the House and the Senate, they had to be evacuated under emergency circumstances. What's the latest?
Yeah, we don't know yet if the joint session of Congress will convene, when it will reconvene, when it will happen. Will it happen tonight? Will it happen afterwards? Because, of course, this is a critical step in making sure that the next president of the United States, who got the electoral votes to make him the next president, Joe Biden, is inaugurated 20th. Uncertain. I've been checking in with top Democrats and Republicans about it. They're just right now, the situation is the one before them. They need to get this under control. There are still protesters in the building who have gone into all corners of the building. In a stunning photo that we are seeing right now, a protester actually in the office of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, leaving, as I want to direct you to that manila folder right there, as you can see, look in there. It says, "We will not back down." Someone leaving a message for the House Speaker in her suite. And I can tell you from spending time, and there's the protester right there. You can see this individual here.
Right. Anything new? No, it doesn't seem to have anything new. Right, back to CNN.
We will not back down. And I can tell you, Wolf, in covering this building for many years and covering Nancy Pelosi's office, it is a heavily fortified office. There are detail around her at all times. There are police officers nearby. You can't just walk in to the Speaker's office. But here you're seeing a pro-Trump demonstrator, someone who's broken into this building with scores of other individuals. This individual coming into the Speaker's office and saying, leaving that message for the Speaker. Now, the Speaker herself has just put out a statement along with the Senate Democratic leader saying, We are calling on President Trump to demand that all protesters leave the U.S. Capitol and Capitol grounds immediately. We're hearing some concerns, too, of being raised by Republicans as well, not demanding going as far as the Democrats are, but nevertheless, it's uncertain how this gets resolved, when it gets resolved, when they'll have that joint session of Congress. But protesters getting in all sorts of the sides of the building. But as I reported just earlier, there is still the Senate's wing of the building appears to be secure at the moment. The protesters have been pushed to the center of the Capitol. They're being escorted out. Where else they are at the building is a very big building, big complex. Remains to be seen, and whether the police can get it under control with the National Guard will be the big question next, Wolf.
It's a horrible, horrible situation that's unfolding here in Washington, D.C., and we can't overemphasize how dangerous this is right now. Caitlin, you're over at the White House. I saw a statement that the Vice President, Mike Pence, who was evacuated from the U.S. Senate, put out. He went further than the President, saying the violence and destruction taking place at the U.S. Capitol must stop, and it must stop now. Anyone involved must respect law enforcement officers and immediately leave the building. He added, peaceful protest is the right of every American, but this attack, he used the word attack, on our Capitol will not be tolerated, and those involved will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The Vice President, Mike Pence, Caitlin, clearly angry.
Yeah, and Wolf, he was there as this broke out, as they started breaching the building, and that's why the Vice President and other leaders...
Because the Capitol's federal property, rioters are committing federal crimes, trespassing property is... I don't know, hold on, I'm going to move this. There you guys go. Okay, so Charles Savage, he's pointing out that it's federal property, they're committing federal crimes. They're talking about exotic sedition charges. What are the odds Trump issues a blanket pardon? I think that's 0. A message was left in Pelosi's office, we will not back down. This is Jim Rudenberg, you're covering that. Okay, so apparently Trump told his supporters in a speech in a rally, he said, we want to be so respectful of everybody, bad people, and we're going to have to fight much harder, and Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us, and if he doesn't, that will be a sad day for our country. Okay, so apparently lawmakers are being given gas masks because there's being tear gas deployed, and you want people helping. This is according to Daily Caller, which is a right-wing media source. I'm 99% sure that that's the case. Kevin McCarthy is the GOP leader. He says, what we are currently watching unfold is un-American. I am disappointed. I am sad. This is not what our country should look like. You see almost unanimous condemnation from Republican lawmakers and Republican media guys of the violence taking place, and from President Trump, you see condemnation of the violence. Ted Cruz said, hey guys, go home. You got the GOP, or current GOP leader, Kevin McCarthy. He says, it's un-American. I am disappointed. This is not what our country should look like. You got photos of the members of Congress shelter in the House gallery as protesters try to break into the House chamber at the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday. In the Senate chamber, when protesters were trying to break in, they had the senators evacuated. We'll see what happens there. It's a stunning... Associated Press has taken all the big images, so they seem to have very, very good photographers. All right, let's move back to the CNN coverage. We've got our New York Times picks. We're going to move up to desktop audio.
These are his supporters. They are storming the United States Capitol. Many of them may have come here for protest, but it has developed into something much worse than that. Dangerous, destructive, illegal, scary, violent, and it is his job to call it out as it is. The fact that Caitlin says the vice president is being more forceful tells you quite a bit. The fact that Jim Acosta and others on our White House team say the president has been watching this all day long. He's watching this and doing nothing. Now, he will say, as he has said in the past, his second tweet was a little tougher than the first tweet. He has authorized the National Guard to go and help. Those are steps that may help a bit. But the challenge of leadership is to stand up to your people when they're doing something that is wrong and tell them they need to back down. And it begins with the president, but it's not just him. The people in that building who keep saying, let's appoint a commission to look again into allegations of election fraud that have been brought to more than...
Republican conservative type guy, and so Capitol Chaos. Okay, so they've got a new angle on this thing. Oh, you got guns being pointed at those guys in the ground. New angles on already taken photos, so we can do the live stream. So much echo, can't hear me. Yeah. I know I'm using my desktop audio, not exactly the best. So much echo. Oh, it's the echo from the live. Wait, do I have this open? No, I don't. Okay. Oh, what? Oh, I gotta. Okay, I'm gonna have to stream CNN. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's very left wing. I'm aware that mob invades Capitol live TV.
Over the course of the last hour and a half. And in the words of one, they were, quote, simply overwhelmed. They did not expect that the outline barriers,
I can
the ones that
turn
are about
down
100 yards away from the Capitol building,
maybe that's a very good idea.
That the protesters, in the words of this individual, that the protesters actually walked up the steps on both the House side, on the Senate side, and the center side.
Can't hear you, so much echo. Yeah.
To break through the windows. Now, what's been going on inside the Capitol is a couple of things. The first priority for the Capitol Police and for law enforcement inside was to secure leadership, make sure that.
All right, so you can see. Shoot, I wonder if I should just turn down the desktop audio because the commentary from the CNN guys is really only relevant to the images. So I guess I can just comment over the images and turn down the CNN guys, and that way you guys won't have your. I know one guy was upset that we were streaming CNN, or not upset. I guess that's the wrong word. He wanted to stream another source, but I gotta pay for cable on my computer to set it up, which should take it too long. So you can see the image of those guys being arrested. This looks like it's happening. I don't know. Okay, this is the Senate chamber. You can tell because of like they're evacuating people. This is also Senate chamber. This was the photo I used for the thumbnail. Police drawing guns. Those are Capitol Police. You can tell because they're wearing suits, and usually most police. I don't know. I'm not a police officer. I have no idea what they're wearing. Capitol Police there. This looks to be in the Senate chamber. You can see protesters walking around. They don't seem to be doing too much. Photographers going around. Those guys seem to be from the Associated Press. Most of the images from inside the Senate chamber, including the one of the police drawing the guns, that was from the Senate Associated Press. I'm sorry. All right. Well, this is a great live stream. I'm gonna go to the gym. I guess I'll come back and maybe do more. Thank you guys so much for watching. 99 playbacks, average watch time 53 seconds. That's pretty good. Thanks so much for coming. I really hope I'm not like showing things that I shouldn't be showing. See you guys